Hello, everybody, and welcome to WCCF Tech Talk Games. WCCF Games Talks.
Do you know where you are, Chris?
I don't know anymore. This is the plagued episode. I'm coughing everywhere. Keith's sneezing, and Alessio's. I don't think he's dead yet.
He may be the best case of any of us right now.
But
Yeah.
I am about to get older, so there is that. So
2
You're about to
days.
get older?
In fact, the day the podcast goes up.
Woo! In that case, happy birthday for now in the future.
sure.
And anyway, so we've got Keith here,
Hello, everybody.
and we've got the birthday boy.
Hi.
Who's gonna spank him?
No, I'm coughing too much. It's not COVID because I've been tested, but I might have some sort of virulent plague. But
Okay.
on the other less plague news, we've got it's very industry oriented topics today. So we've got the fact that the video games industry, everybody is consolidating. Like everybody is buying somebody now.
So that
I'm
has nothing to do with
surprised I've not
consoles?
bought anybody. Sorry?
They're consolidating. I thought you said everybody's going to consoles. Like, no, they're not.
No, consolidating. Yeah, so everybody's buying everybody. There are rumors of Epic going public. Then we're going to talk about Epic exclusives because that will be very much affected by Epic going public if they did. And if we've got time after that, we're just going to talk about how the fact that Google Stadia is dead, which everybody knew it was going to die. But yeah, we'll start by talking about everybody buying everybody else. So recent news is simple. Embracer, you better know them as you will know them better as THQ Nordic. They've gone and done a deal for Gearbox and Asper and everybody else. EA's got a deal in for Codemasters, and provided EU regulation goes through, Microsoft will be sealing the deal on Bethesda. Well, ZeniMax. Go on. I'll let Alessio talk us through what he knows about that first.
Well, since you mentioned Bethesda, I just want to also mention the fact that the founder of ZeniMax just passed away. So
yeah,
rest in peace.
Sad day.
Actually, I learned he was the husband of Linda Carter. Actually, the
Oh,
Wonder
wow.
Woman of
Really?
gold. So
Oh.
yeah. So I didn't know that. And anyway, like Chris said, it's a big time for consolidation in the industry because, of course, we knew about Microsoft deal, which is the biggest one by far, but there are some other big ones, such as especially Embracer, because Embracer, I think, is the unexpected player here, because Microsoft, of course, is huge. I mean, it's one of the biggest companies in the world, and everybody knows it. They can afford to buy ZeniMax. They could even afford to buy bigger companies, probably, if they want.
All I can think is Embrace has had some emails from Nigerian princes with the amount of money they're splashing.
Yeah, so Embracer began acquiring new IPs and developers left and right a few years ago, but
about 3-4 years back now.
And but they were relatively small. But this time around, they acquired 3, and they are all. I mean, all together, if all of the goals they have set for the respective companies are met, it could be almost 3 billion in acquiring EasyBrain, which is a mobile developer, and also Aspir, which is mostly known for porting PC games to Mac and Linux, but it's also apparently doing a big AAA project, which could be a new KOTOR game. And finally,
been involved in a hell of a lot of products before. You're talking Call of Duty, Borderlands, Civilization, Sims. Tomb Raider.
Yeah, yeah,
They've had their
lots of.
fingers in every single. I think they've had their fingers in more games than bloody Electronic Arts.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, and of course, Gearbox, which is also a huge deal.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, 2K was quick to confirm that they will retain the publishing deal for Borderlands, which is the biggest IP
See,
for
the
Gearbox
interesting
at the
thing
time.
for that will be how long will that last for? Because as far as I'm aware, Borderlands is a Gearbox IP, so I'm sure 2K. I'm sure that 2K can't have eternal publishing rights to the IP. Maybe it's the
Yeah,
next game.
I don't know. I mean, they are still putting out new content for Borderlands 3, so it's I
That'll
think
probably be yeah.
sometime
They
away.
probably have got a Borderlands 4 in the works, and that'll be 2K, and then after that it'll be yeah Gearbox Publishing or Undercoach or Deep Silver or THQ Nordic or one of the many names.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that Embracer Group is starting to be really huge at this point. I mean, they bought dozens of developers, and the interesting stuff is that Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford uh, basically confirmed that he he could be okay with other developers inside the Embracer Group.
Hmm.
Taking some IPs that Gearbox isn't currently doing anything with. I mean, not sure if it applies, but perhaps Brothers in Arms could be one of those, since
Brothers in Arms, Duke Nukem.
yeah.
I don't know what other IPs Gearbox has.
So just like with Microsoft purchasing ZeniMax, basically with this consolidation, what we're likely to see is IPs that the main developer, the previous developer, or shall we say original developer, isn't using at the time, perhaps being passed
It,
on to other developers inside the company. Uh,
yeah, I mean, it would make some sense. I mean, Gearbox aren't doing anything with Homeworld, which they bought a few years back. Duke
uh,
Nukem, well, that's definitely not being used after forever.
Actually, they are doing Homeworld 3. I have to correct you on that. So it's being done, and it's targeting a Q4 next year, I think. So there is
We'll
that.
see. We'll
But yeah,
see.
it's been interesting, and of course there is Codemasters, which accept the Ace offer,
Yeah.
and now hopefully it will make racing racing segments even better in all of EA's games, and perhaps there will be a proper Need for Speed at last. What do you guys think?
So, I'll cover Gearbox. Well, that's Embracer first. So, people like Embrace is just a big group name. So people know them more as Koch Media or Deep Silver. Got Saber Interactive, who now are in charge of 4A games, Metro, and so many others, and THQ Nordic, which make about 5,000 games a day. Well, you're looking hundreds of years,
They got a game
hundreds of
printer.
years, hundreds per year, because they've got so many. That includes remakes, mobile games, and such as that. So yeah, Embrace is a massive company, and I remember when they were just Nordic games. This is the strangest thing to me that they were just Nordic games. This is a small company that nobody really. They just put out European jank, and I enjoyed it, but yeah, they like, literally they were smaller games which they never really competed. They just never really competed with the big titles, but they had an audience. And then, like wherever they got the money from, I don't know, but they bought they
Well,
bought the THQ name in the fire sale, when THQ went bust. They got Saints Row and a few others, but even then, the amount of money, do not know where it all came from.
I
But
think I think Lars Wingfors, which is basically the owner, the largest owner, yeah,
he
right
started it,
now.
yeah.
He started the whole process, yeah. Basically, invested the money into the new Nordic games, and then over a few years, he expanded with the THQ Nordic, and then now Embracer. But it's actually proven to be a really long-term strategy, and
Yeah,
I don't know, but maybe 10 years on, we could be looking at another Take-Two size publisher, maybe, or something like that. Because
yeah. Well, if they, I mean, Lars owns roughly 35% of the company still, so yeah, he's certainly, but he's grown it from such a small company to what he's doing now. So yeah, fair play to the man. I wish I had
yeah,
his business sense. And yeah, and as for Electronic Arts, yeah, Codemasters have agreed to be bought out by them, which I'm I've got very mixed feelings on that because Electronic Arts have got such a tendency to, well, buy a company, suck out the soul, and make it a withered husk, and then toss it away. We've seen them do it with so many.
yeah.
But to your point, Codemasters, if EA are smart and listen to me, Electronic Arts, listen to me now. Don't be crap about this. Just let Codemasters do their thing. Let them make the racing games. Give them Need for Speed. Give them. Is it Burnout? Is it Burnout from EA?
Especially, I
Yeah.
think,
Anybody? Is it Burnout?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
yeah,
give Codemasters Need for Speed. Give them Burnout. Just let them make the racing games. You will be set. They've got two. They've got 3 studios now. There's the core Codemasters studio near Leamington Spa, Codemasters Cheshire, which made Dirt 5, and they've got Slightly Mad Games from Project Cars. That's 3 very, very good racing game studios. You could have 1 or 2 racing games a year, and you would not struggle.
hmm
So yeah, don't be shit, EA. Listen to me.
Do it.
yeah. Hopefully, they won't force them to use Frostbite.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, me and you were speaking about that before, weren't we? And I just said, yes. That's another thing. Andrew, listen to me, Wilson. Listen to me right now. Do not make them use Frostbite. I know you really, really, really want every game ever to be made with Frostbite, but Frostbite is a shit engine for
For
anything that
racing.
isn't shooters. Well, no, for role playing games as well. Look at what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda.
To be fair, I don't think the engine did that.
No, the engine was part of the problem.
It didn't help, but it didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't the whole thing, but it was a big part of the problem. Frostbite is absolute shite for anything other than shooter games. So
yeah,
yeah,
most likely.
please don't fuck it up, EA.
Keith,
And
what do you
yeah,
think about it?
I'm worried. I'm worried about the games industry because there's so much consolidation going on.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm not a fan of it.
Keith wasn't part of on the podcast where when we spoke about Microsoft and ZeniMax, but I passed on his message. But yeah, this is just more of the same. The only advantage of these other deals now is the fact that these are third party, so you're not likely to see them bound to one platform.
I mean, yeah, mostly they have more leeway to make even risky projects.
Hmm.
So
When did
that's
EA last make a risky project?
not EA, but yeah, for
I'm just
example,
thinking, when did they last actually do one? Probably Mirror's Edge, the original.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think the most risky thing that EA's been involved with has been the Alice series, the American McGee's Alice
Yeah,
series.
yeah. I'm just thinking
That's
Mirror's
probably the
Edge as
most
well.
out there thing that they've had a part in.
Yeah. Like you say, you're going to see probably risks taken by Embracer because their studios just like to. Well, and I really like the studios for this, but they seem to just like throw a dart at the wall and hopefully it works.
Let's see what happens. Oh, that was good. I did that. And if it's
But
bad,
has anybody else got anything to say about the massive consolidation?
I don't
not a
think
fan.
so.
Just not a fan of it myself. I worry that what you run into is it's going to have almost the Ubisoft effect with all these developers where they had their ideas, but then they get brought in under one header, and then you have somebody that's, as long as they allow them to operate independently but still be a part of it, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. But it's just like with anything, if there's a so just with any job, you have to remember that for these developers, it's work, it's a job, and there's somebody evaluating their performance. So as long as they're doing great on their own, then they're probably going to leave them to their own devices. But the first time they stumble, what you're probably going to have happen is now EA is going to come in, and now I'm using EA as an example, but now they're going to come into that independent developer that they purchased, and they go, okay, you cocked it up. So we're going to say you need to start doing these things and these things and these things. And then they slowly turn into what the company already had. I mean, why would you buy something else to make more of what you already have? You diversify. But whenever there's a problem, then they try to rein it in and think, well, we need to make it more like the things that were successful. And now all you end up with is several developers making Call of Duty games that are exactly the same.
Well, look at what they did with Volition, Dead Space.
Yeah, I mean, it's by the time it got to the end, it was just another game. It was no longer what made it great. The second one didn't do quite as good as the first one, and they're rather than accepting that it's a sequel, and sequels typically don't outperform the one before it because you do have drop off, and you very rarely pick up new gamers for the sequel of a series because they're like, well, I didn't play the other one. So what they did was, instead of just accepting that this is part of the churn or the attrition of gamers, they say, well, we need to spruce it up. And then they made something like Dead Space 3. What was that?
Hmm.
I didn't even jump once in that whole game. So
Well, so what were you saying, sorry, Alessio?
Sorry?
I thought you were going to say something about the consolidation, weren't you?
Oh, I just think it's not like Kid said as well. It may not be that much of a big deal. Also, in some cases, for example, if we go back to Zenimax being purchased by Microsoft, I mean, now they certainly won't have the excuse of not having enough resources to improve the the engine.
In reality, they
So
never had that excuse. ZeniMax is a very rich company.
yeah, but now they're basically unlimited with the resources.
Yeah,
So they want to. So it's we'll see. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
the stakes are higher, and I keep hoping that we'll get just the same products they've been making before they were acquired, just better. I don't know, bigger and more polished.
suppose the only problem is they're going to be exclusive. We know they are. We know they are.
Yeah, but I think
Speaking of exclusives, why don't you talk to us about Epic? And well, there's rumors of them going public, aren't there?
yeah, basically, just yesterday, I think someone spotted a LinkedIn profile of someone starting a position at Epic as in investor relations. Of course, if you have to be to be an investor relator, there have to be investors first, right? And of course, there are some investors, but it is a private company thus far, and several industry analysts are betting that Epic will go public pretty soon, which would be huge, I think, because not sure how much is it valued now, but it's many billions.
Yeah, from what of the post that was done, we did about it, it says valued at a little over 17 billion.
Wow.
That doesn't surprise me. Unreal's used everywhere.
Yeah, that was I
And
think in
Fortnite.
August. Could be even higher now, and yeah, I mean, yeah, you were saying that this this move could give them even more money to grab exclusives.
Well, see, no, I actually think it's the opposite way. Once they go public, they like Tencent, as much as they own 40% of the company, they seem to be quite hands off. They're just happy because they invested a few hundred million, and now they've got an investment worth like 8.5 billion. They've had more than enough returns out of it, so they're happy. If if Epic go public, then they've got their profit and loss accounts to start worrying about. Then they've got the earnings per share. They've the amount of money they could throw at games to be exclusive, that's going to dwindle. Now, obviously, a lot of the deals Epic make are just cash up front and it comes out the sales after the fact. But there have been cases where Epic will just simply pay. Well, they'll do the cash up front deal as well as give a sweetener bonus. The amount they can offer may go down if they and think about how much they're spending in the free games every week of a free game. That's a good amount of money. I don't really believe that the Epic Game Store is making a big enough profit to
Oh,
justify this yet.
speaking of the free games on Epic, I did find out that the developer of the game doesn't get paid until the game is launched on a client.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I think a
That's
lot of
very,
how many
that,
people are claiming the games but never actually
oh yeah, yeah.
launching them? So I
Oh
mean,
yeah, no doubt
it
about
doesn't
that.
offset. It's just something I don't think a lot of people realize that. So, like, if it's like, hey, I got this game, I got it on another platform, I'd like to support the developer, I'll get the free copy over here. That way, it looks like it came out. But if you don't actually
Yeah.
download it and launch it, you're not doing anything for the dev. So,
It's
just
quite
just just a
similar. A
fun.
lot. Yeah, it's quite similar to the Netflix deals where certain deals with Netflix are literally a film or TV series. It's the amount of times it's launched, or even sometimes the amount of minutes watched.
Ah, yes, yes. That's how Game Pass pays out developers.
So even then, yeah. So the money Epic are paying, it's not every single free copy given away, but they're still giving a lot of money away, and that's a lot of money. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
it is to grab audience share, but I think if they went public, whether it is going to happen or not, that's something completely different. Like, does Tim Sweeney want to give up his controlling share because he owns like 50%, 51% of Epic? And I can't see Tencent wanting to liquidate it, not since they're seemingly raising money to buy something else. They've been raising billions to well make some more acquisitions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
then
I
again,
think.
go on, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying that Tencent is also one of the big players in the acquisition and merger business because just last week they invested about 30 million euros in Dotnod,
Yeah, yeah,
and they also participated in a Series B funding round for Mantfish for the Atomic Heart game.
yeah.
So, and of course, a couple of weeks ago, they acquired Clay Entertainment. So, and there are rumors of a much bigger acquisition on the way. So,
Well, they are.
Tencent is
Yeah, that's it. They're raising billions. That
yeah.
much we do know as a fact. But what they're going to acquire, I don't know. But like I don't. It's a weird one. A lot of people will always make that complaint about Tencent being obviously involved in Epic, but Tencent have got their fingers in well, not hundreds,
So
but
many.
dozens of games companies, and
Yeah,
it's not always 40% like they've got an Epic, but sometimes it's 5%. They've got a few percent in
in
Paradox
Ubisoft as
Interactive.
well.
Sorry.
Ubisoft as well.
Yeah, yeah.
They've got.
They've got some in Ubisoft. They've got some in Paradox Interactive because these small shares, and a lot of people don't look at it in the business sense of Tencent have a bit of a ownership of those companies, not enough to have a big say in it, but what they do is then they're already on the inside to make a deal for publishing in China. So these games that aren't being published in China by the original developer or publisher, Tencent are taking up that mantle, and Tencent are can be doing the localization and everything. So Tencent
Yeah.
makes a lot of money on the back of that.
So basically, they want to be the publisher for, I don't know, half of the industry in China.
Pretty
So
much,
maybe.
and I can't blame them. That's like, yeah, you really can't blame them. It's incredible business sense because they make money on the back of the sales of games sold in China, and then the profits that are going to the original publisher, whatever share they get, Tencent also get a cut of that when the earnings per share, or however much percentage these companies pay out, if they pay out.
Hmm.
So big business.
Well, yeah. Well, anyway, back on the main topic. The news actually came out of PC Gamer. Basically, a representative got told PC Gamer that they have quote more exclusives coming in the next 2 years than they have published to date.
Okay.
So that's of course there are several ways we can interpret that because it depends if you consider the timed exclusives or the full
Yeah.
exclusives. But hopefully it's the latter because they are funding two Remedy games, one Play Dead games and one Gen Design game. So hopefully, if they are funding games outright, then that's more helpful for developers, than just
Interesting.
yeah.
I
So yeah,
suppose it also depends if what they're looking at when it comes to like Ubisoft, the Ubisoft games, because Epic get all of them, but there's no new Ubisoft games on Steam, are there? Or not most
yeah,
of them.
yeah. Most of the Ubisoft games are basically exclusive to the Ubisoft Store, which is Uplay and Epic Game Store. So yeah,
And having a look
they,
at this, it's like you mentioned, like the Remedy games, Epic are directly publishing those, so I imagine
yeah,
they'll never be on Steam.
yeah. Those will be never on Steam, I guess, as well. So yeah, but Epic Game Store is getting big because I think in December, so a couple, well, just a few more than a month ago, they attracted 56 million monthly active users,
Yeah,
which is basically almost half of Steam. And of course, it's not bad if you consider that they only started a couple of years ago.
yeah. Oh, it's
Compared to-
massive, but they have thrown some bloody good money at it.
Yeah, and of course, Fortnite helped a lot as well. So it's
Yeah,
we'll have to see how much that lasts.
yeah. Once the Fortnite bank breaks, you're going to see a lot of belt tightening whenever that breaks, because I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. It
So,
is
have you got any
talking.
impression? Oh, sorry.
I'm just saying, Kit is talking a lot in this
I
podcast.
am. I'm dead, guys. I'm learning in this one. I'm not as
You're learning.
familiar with a lot of the companies and stuff like you guys are. Now, if this was like hardware companies and acquisitions and stuff, I could probably speak a lot more to that. And I'm totally disheartened in a completely unrelated note to see that cryptocurrency miners are now buying laptops in bulk to mine with. So It's like nothing is safe. Companies, the gaming companies are all consolidating, and you can't buy any hardware to play the games that they make anyway. So it's like, what do we do? What do we do?
I have the solution. Stadia.
It's
That's
dead.
not a solution.
Stadia's dead.
dead.
Honestly,
dead.
honestly, as a legitimate sidestep, like Stadia, they're shutting down their studio, but they're going to keep the technology going. See, now you got something I can really jump in on. But and Alessio mentioned this before we went live. It's also timely, and it makes sense why you'll probably start to see a lot more advertising and stuff for it. I'm even doing a bit on it with GeForce Now and their game streaming service, because I'm gonna say this is the thing: if you've got existing hardware, hold on to what you have. Okay, if you can run your games that you want to play, just turn your settings down, hold on to it. Don't sell anything right now. Hold it. But if you've got older hardware and it can't run the newer games that you want to play, GeForce Now is a legitimate option if you have good internet and you don't have like heavy data caps. There are caveats. It's not perfect. I'm not going to say like, oh, don't buy a new graphics card. Buy this service instead. Well, I purchased a 6 months subscription to GeForce Now a few weeks ago out of curiosity, because I've tried it using the free version. And when you do the free version, you guys know you got to get in queue, you got to wait for access to an open server, and then you can play for about an hour. I played.
Yeah, I mean, then you can queue for another session, I think. So,
yeah,
so,
but
yeah.
you got to. I played probably 10 of the 30 hours of Cyberpunk 2077 that I've played using GeForce Now on my laptop with a mouse and keyboard. And the laptop that I have has it's got a Core i5 9300H and a GTX 1650. It's not a killer laptop, but it does what I need it to. It actually ran the game so much better on GeForce Now on that laptop that the latency from the service was lower than the latency from the low performance that I was getting running it natively with the lowest settings at like 900p. So I actually enjoyed the game better on GeForce Now using the laptop than I did by playing it natively on the laptop.
Okay. Well, yeah, I suppose if you've got a good enough connection, then obviously GeForce Now gives a much better performance than.
Well, even the latency from the system versus the latency of the hardware from just the slowness of it running felt better on. So what it's led me to do is I'm going to do some latency testing versus like actually playing the game on the laptop versus using GeForce Now on the same laptop.
So the question is, now that Stadia's dead, like they've got rid of their, before even releasing a single game, they've got rid of their development, games and entertainment studios, whatever. How long until Luna dies?
Luna never came to life.
It's not. Well, no, it's not. Yeah, because it's like it's still in beta, or is it?
I don't think it's going to leave
not,
beta.
It's not out yet. Yeah. But
is it going to be stillborn?
There is a difference, I think, because I mean, just timely, the new Amazon CEO, since well, as you know, the founder Jeff Bezos is going to step down, and the new boss is basically the current Amazon Web Services boss, and basically he sent an internal email to recommit to making games, and of course he said this is not an industry that we can just automatically win over a year or so. So I think it's important, compared to Stadia, because Amazon is basically making the same long-term bet that Microsoft has been making for a few years already, while Google is saying, "Okay, we tried, let's move on."
Yeah,
So
Google thought they were gonna. Well, it took Microsoft like 5 years before they finally got really settled in,
The,
and Google just thought they were gonna do it in about 2 weeks.
yeah, going digital first and streaming first is, I think, the mistake. And I think Amazon's going to they'll either just dump enough money into it to where it looks like they're winning or that they're being successful with it. I don't see GeForce Now has a unique perspective in the sense that no, not every game is available on GeForce Now to be able to stream through it, but it is a service where you own your game in your library. You don't own it through GeForce Now.
I suppose the one thing Amazon's got, they've already started doing what Google didn't do. They've got partnerships. They've like Amazon have partnered with Ubisoft.
Google.
Ubisoft,
So did Stadia.
did they?
Yeah. Ubisoft was one of their premier launch partners.
Yeah, but I don't think Stadia partnered with Ubisoft for a channel like Luna have. So with like on Amazon's partnered with Ubisoft and they've got a like similar to Uplay Plus or something. Every single Ubisoft
Oh,
game
okay, yeah, no, they didn't
will
have
be
that.
available same day as release, sort of thing.
Okay.
but
What happens
yeah,
to
but
these services when you buy the game through them and then they shut down?
You
Huh.
lose the game, I imagine.
It's just gone. It's like that with all the services, though. I mean, if Steam buckled tomorrow, you know, it's unlikely, but
yeah,
I
that's
thought-
the way of the digital.
yeah, you'll own
Yeah.
nothing and you'll love it.
Gold.
Yeah,
So
but
yeah,
you
so
know,
Stadia's dead.
yeah, but I think the big mistake they made is exactly that they should have been making first party games from the start, not
Yes.
Not launching the platform first.
They definitely put the
exactly.
cart before the horse.
You same as everything. I mean, I'm thinking this about the current generation of consoles. They've been out what now? 3 months?
Have they
Yeah, 3
ever
months.
actually released?
Like that's what I mean. It's like I wasn't actually joking. So my latest review, Destruction All Stars. That's the first actual new game of the current generation. 3 months after the generation's launched. Like
Wow.
that, Demon Souls isn't a new game because it's a remake. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, even for Xbox, I mean, they just got the Medium, which was the first real next gen.
That's not purely next gen because it's also on last gen.
No, it isn't.
Isn't it?
No,
I thought it was.
No, the Medium is XS and XX. Series
Okay.
X, Series X, and Series S. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just because I don't really know anything about Xbox stuff. I don't play them. I've got it on PC for me. No, so fair enough. So yeah, so we've got the Medium. It took them 3 months to finally launch games on the current generation of consoles. It's like that's not good.
No, but from here it's up. Hopefully.
So
yeah, Google. But then again, with Google, you were looking a good few years before they'd finally release the game.
Yeah, I think everybody is, the core of making games is that you have to make good games. I mean, it sounds like a rather trivial thing to say, but I think it's not, because if you find the most successful companies, Nintendo and lately Sony with the PlayStation 4 generation, what it makes a real special place for them in the hearts of gamers is that they were able to make outstanding games, outstanding franchises.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So if I mean, Amazon and Google combined, they were unable so far to make a really great game, between the two of them. I
Well,
mean,
Amazon
Google,
only made one game.
yeah. So
Yeah,
basically, you know,
the boring race.
Amazon tried to launch Crucible, but it was a huge failure, and they had to close it down.
Did that even
So
launch? I don't even remember that launching.
yeah, it was on Steam for a while.
What's it?
Yeah, and
Are you sure? I don't.
yeah,
I literally have zero memory of that. Like for
it
me,
did.
that was another game that was just like stillborn. It was like it was in the womb. It was ready to come out, and then it just went. Nah, I can't be asked.
And I think, you know, that consolidation is happening for this precise reason, because, you know, people like who have the money, for example, EA, they want to get people who actually can make racing games, because
Yeah.
they've been trying to make them, and they haven't been very successful lately with the Need for Speed games or Burnout even. And the same goes for Microsoft getting Zenimax, and also Embracer Group getting Gearbox. I mean, these companies that have enough money, they are just they're just opting to get the talent, you know, because if you
Yeah.
don't make outstanding games that can be on everybody's mouth, and then you are not going to to break
Yeah.
through in the industry.
You need to like you either start small and make good games that can just toddle along with a few good, few sales until you make that big hit, or you really need to do hit it out of the park. But it's so hard to get something perfect or get something that great right away. And you were right. Crucible launched on May 20th, and then in like literally 1 month later, it returned to closed beta. So that was no, that
Yeah,
was just
so
not good. That's
hopefully,
why I don't remember it. It wasn't even out for a month before they closed it.
yeah, just a few weeks, and
Jesus, that's bad.
that
So
was bad. So hopefully, New World, and especially the new Lord of the Rings MMO, I hope will be different. But I don't know.
I don't think. I genuinely don't think New World's going to get released.
I have
I
a
think that's
feeling that
been
my sinuses will clear up before this is over, rather than I do that it's going to have a good. Yeah, no, my faith level is very, very low.
considering they can't even release New World. They're certainly not going to get studying Lord of the Rings MMO out anytime soon.
I don't
The
know,
only
but
reason they're going to try and get that out is because obviously they're making the
the
series.
series.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if both of them launched around the same time, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. But like I said, Microsoft spent many billions before they found, a decent level of success in the industry.
Oh
I
yeah,
think Amazon, if Amazon is willing to do the same, I think they will also, eventually
yeah,
succeed, most likely. But
yeah. If they've
they
got the
have to
Money
be
to make
scruples to
patient.
stick in it, I think they
spend
may
money
have a
to make
place.
money, and that's what Amazon's always done. They spend a shitload of money, and eventually they make it back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I can't think of anything else I need to say other than Stadia's dead, which I always said it would be.
Stay derp.
I
Yeah.
So feelings on the Mass Effect remaster.
I want the bum back.
Get the butt cam back, and I'll buy. Otherwise, I'm passing.
I get why they're doing it to an extent, but I don't think anybody really complained about it.
I don't think anybody that cared
Really,
about the games cared about it.
like nobody. The
People were
changing the
more
cameras.
concerned about having FemShep in the later games more than they
Yeah,
were worried
there's
about
no
the camera.
reason. There's literally no reason why they needed to change the cameras
There
around
was an
the cast.
intern that whined about it, I'm sure.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to play the games. To be
No.
fair, I'm not going to buy the games anyway because why would I? I've got the original.
Hey, are they on
Well,
Origin? Are they on anything other than Origin?
yeah, it's on Steam.
Do
And
do I have
actually,
do I have to still install Origin?
I don't know, probably.
Then I'm not
Oh,
gonna. Then they're
am
not
I
getting
reviewing
anything.
them, Alesso? Is that how I'm going to get a copy? Am I going to be reviewing them?
If
don't
Origin
know.
has to go on my computer, the game's not launching.
Why?
I don't like Origin. Origin has caused me so much problems with work here at the site that it can go die in a fire, and EA can be bulldozed, and I would not cry a tear.
He likes it.
I think maybe it was all of those Battlefield benchmarks, that you had to
Yes.
because
Now
they have a limited number
yes,
of installs, right?
limited number
well,
of hardware
better.
changes, and it makes my job very difficult. I do still have it installed on the test bench over there with Battlefield 5, which nobody should ever play because that game sucks. But I'm sorry. That's the other thing. I'm just going to go on a brief momentary tirade. EA can go eat ass because they will not do whatever it takes to even attempt to impact cheating on Battlefield. Don't launch another Battlefield game until you can do something about the cheaters. If you log into a multiplayer match on Battlefield, you might as well just stand there because 90% of the players all have aimbot on and they're just shooting through the buildings and through the mountains, and you're just gonna die. And there's no point in even playing the game because it's stupid. And anybody that's still playing at this point is a masochist and wants themselves to die. They just don't have the guts to do it to themselves. So they log in and they let the game do it and they pretend to have a digital suicide. That's all it is. That's all that it exists in Battlefield anymore. And I say that as somebody who's never skipped a Battlefield game since the series started. They have completely destroyed it. It's stupid, and they should never have added a storyline to the game. They suck. Bring out Bad Company. You know what? I don't even want Bad Company 3 at this point. I don't even want Bad Company 3 because they'll screw that up so bad, it'll ruin the only thing that they've done with the story that I've enjoyed. You know what? Hardline is better than the last games they've come out with. And it's better than the next one they're going to come out with. I'm done. Okay.
That was Volition. Volition's last game.
Hardline was actually a really good game.
Yeah, well,
people just
it was made by the Dead Space developers.
Mm-hmm. So. It was a good game. It was a good game, and people crapped on it. And then you got Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5. I hope you're happy.
Okay, but just on the heels of that, they confirmed that the new Battlefield game will have unprecedented numbers of players. I think they mean the cap of players, in a match. So probably twice as.
Remember Mag?
Yes,
3.
It was better than Battlefield 5.
I enjoyed Mag. What was that? Too. 512 people.
PlanetSide 2 is better than Battlefield 5, and it's free.
PlanetSide 2 is it's a great game.
I love Battlefield.
An MMO.
Yeah, it's fun. Go if you want to play a Battlefield game. Go play PlanetSide 2. Grab some friends, pick a class, play the objective, have fun.
To be fair, also I think Activision is also having some huge issues with the cheating on Call of Duty.
Yeah, that's why I've always was a Battlefield fan first.
I think that we could have a topic about cheating later on another day.
Yeah,
we could definitely get some mileage out of that.
I'm gonna go take some NyQuil in the middle of the day and see if I can stay awake.
I'm going to go back to playing Days Gone.
All right, guys. I guess we'll catch each other here again next week. Well, you guys will. Next week I'll be out.
Okay. Too bad. Don't put any hopes into playing Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2 this year because Activision said no. So
absolutely. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, another time.
All right, guys. I'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
See you later.